Hello, it's Debbie Gilbert from the Business Awards show, and I'm also the owner of the Best Business Women Awards. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Siobhan Sterling of Sharp Minds Communications, who was the winner of the Best Businesswoman in Marketing and PR 2021 in last year's Best Business Women Awards. We're going to be chatting to Siobhan today all about her business, what made her start her business, and also I'm sure she's going to share some amazing tips about PR and also about awards. So welcome, Siobhan.
Thank you very much, Debbie.
So Siobhan, where did it all begin? Why did you set up Sharp Mind Communications?
Kind of accidentally. So I was a BBC journalist for 20 years. Went part-time after having my oldest, which was 23 years ago. Discovered, as many women do, that, so in my mind, I was the worker who did slightly fewer hours than anybody else. In the minds of my colleagues and my bosses, I was the mum who came to work sometimes. So suddenly, all those kind of opportunities, and as probably a lot of other women can relate to, every time I came back from maternity leave, 3 children, my boss had changed. So I was always negotiating return to work with somebody I didn't know. And in fact, with my final one, the new boss, there'd been a number of first-time mums who'd dictated some very difficult terms for the BBC. You know, BBC, if a programme is on air, it doesn't work if everybody walks out of the building 2 hours before you go to air. That kind of doesn't work. So if you're on a programme that is off air at 6:30 or 7, you have to have childcare. That means you can be there. And the previous bosses had negotiated a load of terms for their mates that worked really well. And he came in, to be fair to him, he came into a load of absolutely unworkable shifts. And when I had my return to work interview with him, it was, you're going to be asking this, this, and this everybody else has asked for, and it doesn't work for business purposes. So you always find you're kind of tarred with the brush of whatever's gone before, other people's preconceptions. And you know, I really hope it's changing. I really do hope it's changing. But the sad reality certainly then was that actually opportunities, it became a job, basically. It went from a career to a job. And, you know, there's a thing with journalism, you know, the Boxing Day sales, the BBC tells the same way year in, year out. So you kind of get to a bit of painting by numbers. And if there isn't career progression, there is a question of, yeah, I can do this in my sleep. I'm watching the bright young sparks come in, leapfrogging over me because they haven't got to be home for bath time or whatever it is, or because they are viewed as being full-time and serious, whereas I'm not, because I only do 2-3 days a week. And it got to the point I just went, well, I was going to say, it just got to the point of me thinking, if all it is earning money, there has to be easier ways of doing it. And I'd freelanced alongside, after going part-time at the BBC, I'd freelanced for national newspapers and magazines and built up a very lucrative second career with that, where I was earning twice as much as my BBC salary. That all fell out in 2008 because of the financial crash. People just stopped buying magazines in the same way. But it got to about 2011, and I just thought, if it's just a job, there's got to be easier ways of earning money. So I thought I'd set out my own, and it's not easier.
So how long have you had the business now?
So actually 10 years this month.
Wow.
We're celebrating next month, but it was accidental. When I left the BBC, and again, a lot of people might relate to this, I didn't intend to grow a business. All I wanted to do was replace my BBC salary, and I just wanted to be a high, well-respected, well-paid freelance copywriter. Magazines had kind of died since 2008, but I was getting commissioned by some of my previous editors had joined communications agencies, and they were asking for content for brands. And I thought, well, that's where the money is, so that's what you do. And then there was a learning curve that actually you can't charge your day rate, your freelance day rate that you had at the BBC when you're freelancing, because you can only work 3 days a week, because you've got to market yourself and you've got to spend a day invoicing. So actually day rate has to be different. So you've got to build up a brand so you can charge more. And it got a couple of years in, and I realized I wasn't a copywriter. I was offering full service marketing services. And that's when I rebranded to Sharp Minds, to have the right brand to attract the clients that by then I knew I could add value for, and to attract the right staff.
So why were awards part of your strategy?
Again, that probably happened by accident. You know, the thing about being a BBC journalist is actually you don't know anything about business. You don't know anything about the business world. So there's an awful lot of things that I've kind of heard other people talking about, at networking. You think, oh, what is that? I'll look into it. And actually, one of the very first people I met when I was kind of networking set up the Kent Women in Business Awards.
Right.
And I put forward a couple of clients at that time who I felt were worthy of it. And it took a few years, probably took another 3 years after they were set up for me to actually think, actually, we've got a story and I think it's worthwhile us going for it now. And then having done it, obviously marketing and PR, you kind of know how to leverage it. You get shortlisted, you put out the press release because you say, if you don't get any further, that's your only shot at publicity from this. And then I won. So I've won the Kent Women in Business the last 4 years in a row. But the knock-on of that is the kudos that it gives your business. To say award-winning makes a huge difference. And there are people who I probably haven't spoken to since I met them networking 9 years ago. And we put out, obviously we do social media, we put out newsletters to our database, and they'll suddenly crop up on LinkedIn and say, oh, I see you've won another award. But I haven't spoken to them for 9 years, but it's just that they're just noticing it. And you'll know this, Debbie, being a marketer. When we send out our newsletters, we send out a lot of value-adding content of, tips for doing your own marketing and improving it. I can guarantee that when we send out personal news, and guarantee that when we send out that I've won an award, our open rates go through the roof in comparison. And when I won the national award last year with you, we have open rates of between 15 and 20%. When I win an award, it goes up to 25 plus. When I won with you, it was 35%.
Wow, that's amazing.
And of course, you write it, so even if nobody opens it in the headline, they will at least know. Even if they just delete it, they'll know, oh, she's won another award. And we've had referrals come through, and you track it and say, where's this, how did you find out about us? Well, so-and-so met you years ago, and she hasn't been in touch for a while, but she keeps seeing you're winning awards, so she thinks she must be good. So she recommended we try you. So the brand currency they bring you is phenomenal. And if you want to get PR, you have to have something new to say. You can't put out a press release going, we're still doing a good job, we're still alive, we're still here, we're still in business. Journalists not interested in that, but to win an award is a genuine news line, and you get coverage.
The awards place you as an expert in your industry and make journalists more interested in your backstory.
Do you know it probably does? I'll tell you. So I'm in Tunbridge Wells. We are very unusual. We have our own newspaper for Tunbridge Wells. It's a town of 60,000 people. Towns of 60,000 people don't have their own newspaper. We do. And actually, when I first started trying to place client stories with them, it was very, very hard. Really, they wanted an advertising budget to go with stories. But over time, they kind of learned that actually we did have genuine stories. And now we're at a position where we're actually placing quite a lot of advertising with them. And they've asked me to be a judge on their awards this year.
Oh, how exciting.
And I'm pretty certain it actually was winning the Best Businesswoman Awards that was that, okay, she's won Kent 4 years in a row, but actually now we need to take notice she's won a national one.
Yeah, I do think the national ones do add an additional layer of credibility, definitely.
Yes. So yes, I do think probably, does it help journalists? I don't think journalists necessarily look for award winning. I have had opportunities come precisely because people have Googled award winning. So I have been approached to do things because people have Googled that. But it's probably more the fact of the buzz. I mean, in fact, we've just had a very interesting inquiry, and I obviously asked the question, how did you find out about us? And he's local, but not really local to us. And he said, well, I was looking at LinkedIn and I was looking at who was getting traction on LinkedIn.
Interesting. That's really.
So it's not necessarily somebody's Googling, but it's just, if you post, and again, you'll know, rather like the newsletter open rate shoot up, if you post something on LinkedIn of really proud to be a finalist, oh my God, I can't believe it. You get so much more traction than your bog standard, how to write a winning headline, or whatever it is you put out in your industry, 10 ways to reduce mold in your conservatory, whatever it is you're putting out, you get so much more when it's personal.
So you've got an awards final coming up soon, haven't you?
Yes, I am a finalist for the 5th year in a row for the Kent Women in Business. So I'm PR and marketing. Oh, I've gone back. The one I would really love to win, but a really good client and friend is up against me. I'm very happy to come second to her, which is Best Businesswoman over 5 years in business. And then the other one, previously I've won twice leadership and management. And I've actually gone for Employer of the Year this year.
Oh, right.
I thought,
Okay. Interesting.
actually, I think as a micro business, I think we've got a lot to offer our staff. I think we do a lot for our staff, and I think that's worthwhile shouting about.
Definitely. And any other awards on the horizon this year that you want to go for?
Well, you won't let me go for PR and marketing this year, so, so I can't. So I've got to decide whether we're an outstanding business to go for that. We're looking at other things. Having got the national and see the difference it makes, then that is very much part of
I think so. And there are quite a lot of national awards out there. And I think having a variety of things and a variety of exposure, which I think is the key, really, because each awards, exposes you to a different audience. So I think that's a really good strategy. And in terms of clients who, you obviously write award entries for, do you have like a PR sort of machine that goes behind that if they do win or they get shortlisted, and how do you go about?
Yeah. So absolutely. So, and I've learned having won the Kent Women in Business 4 years in a row of, do you know what, you actually have to put time in the diary for the day after the awards to actually send this out. And you kind of don't like to because it's really presumptuous. And then you think, suppose you have blocked out a day and we don't win. But we've had to price this
day out somewhere.
Well, exactly. Okay, we'll catch up with the admin instead. It's never going to be a problem having a buffer day in the diary, is it? So yes, I have learned that you do that. And then the other thing that we do, which might be something for the people who do PR and marketing, particularly with this local newspaper that was so tricky. I know that if I just put out something saying Siobhan Sterling is a triple finalist, it won't get in. But what we do is we do the job for the journalists for them. So last year, of all the entrants from across Kent for the Kent Women in Business, 9 of them were from Tunbridge Wells. So we went through the shortlist page and we pulled together a press release for all 9. We got headshots for all 9 of them. We got quotes from all 9 of them. We did a table of who was shortlisted for what. And we put it out to our local newspaper in Tunbridge Wells, and then there's a couple of Kent newspapers, and every single one reproduced it because we've done the job of the journalists for them.
Yeah, makes it.
And by doing that, and went through a very simple criteria of you can enter 3 categories. So we'll do it of those who are shortlisted for 3, we name first, and then the ones who are listed for 2 and 1, and that seems the fair way to do it. And we got fantastic coverage, whereas I know that if you just do it for yourself, it doesn't work. So that's a thing to think about of, can you tell a story for your area, or can you talk about people in your sector and make it a wider piece that people then sit up and take note.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm sorry, I was just going to say the other thing for our clients is that we do, it's harder to get coverage if you're in PR and marketing because marketing people know to go for awards. But for example, one of the people who came, we had 2 clients who came with us up to your awards who were both silver winners, one of whom is in HR and one of whom is an estate agent. Both their trade press ran the story. So if we put estate agent or Tunbridge Wells estate agents is putting the sector on the map with national award shortlist. Tunbridge Wells HR expert is putting the sector on the map with. The trade press outside of marketing are very, very willing to talk about it. So that's a good way of getting clients coverage.
Brilliant. So 10 years, long time to be in business. What have been the biggest challenges along
Wrinkles.
What's the biggest challenge that you faced, do you think?
Oh, can I do a number of them? For me, the starter, and it partly depends upon the learning curve of business, the life cycle of the business. For me, moving from the BBC, and if you've read things like the E-Myth, you'll actually, it doesn't matter whether you come from the BBC or whether you're an accountant, what it is. You're a technician, you're really good at what you do, but you don't actually know how to run a business. So learning how to run a business was massive. That makes it sound like I've got it nailed now. I don't think I've got it nailed, but there are things to do. So the most powerful thing that I've done for that is I run an accountability group, which I kind of inherited. I wouldn't have known what an accountability group was. I wouldn't have known how to set it up and how to structure it to be fair and to get the most from people in the room. But fortunately, I kind of got that intellectual property from somebody else. And that absolutely helps the members in the room to kind of anticipate business challenges, create strategies to stave them off, to deal with the curveballs when they come in. And I would say that I've probably been doing that for something like 7 years now in total. And that's possibly where I've done most of my business learning. The other place where I've done most of my business learning is through other business owners. So the second biggest challenge I probably had was working out where my clients were.
Yeah.
And again, that sounds really stupid, but it actually is something you've got to do. And you can go any business, yeah, but it's not any business, is it? It's got to be business owners who want to grow, who are ambitious, who've got a budget. Key to that and helping me learn how to grow business skills was actually finding the right networking group to be a member of. You and I have talked about this before. For me, it's BNI. Once you get a business tribe, a business family, you will have people who are further down the line. There'll be a business coach who will have a coffee with you and help you through those early days. And in the same way, later on, you'll do the same. So I do a lot of pro bono now for people starting up and people who are further, just on the beginning of their journey. And then the third biggest challenge I would say at the moment is recruitment.
Yeah.
And which is a lovely position to be in, especially after the challenges of the last 2 years. I mean, 2 years ago, 2 years and 1 month ago, it was, oh my God, does the business survive? Lost half turnover overnight. So to be in a position of trying to get the right staff is a wonderful position to be in. And I don't know that I have a solution for that other than actually hold faith in yourself. What I have learned is the people who come in and want to negotiate every single term will tie you up in knots. People who go through your contracts line by line, when you've already taken it, to your HR expert or your employment lawyer, whoever, you've had it tested with a couple of other employees, you know it's fair on both sides. Somebody comes in and wants to question everything, it's not going to work. Just have faith to go, I know that this is an honest contract and a fair contract. And if you're going to be like that, probably they'll tie up in knots for 3 days negotiating and then they won't start, or they'll start and they'll leave. So I think have faith. And actually, one of the things that I've started doing is I've now put together a 1-page PDF of these are our terms, because I've gone so far down the line. I believe in 360 recruitment, so I kind of get the whole team involved. So you think of the people time, the business time invested in actually checking whether this person is a good fit for it to fall down. So I'd rather flush that out early now of if you're going to quibble. I had one woman who was absolutely adamant she was never going to take a lunch break because she had to get home early. And I said, but that's illegal.
Yeah, it is.
I cannot give you an illegal contract and then 3 years down the line you sue me because you're stressed because you never had a lunch break. Oh, but we can work this. No, we can't. So I've now just flushed it out early. Yeah. I would rather my recruiters come to me and say, we've got no one. See this one person, that one person is right.
The golden nugget. Yeah.
Yes. So I think those are my biggest challenges and my biggest tips.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's been great chatting with you today. Good luck for the Kent Women in Business. We'll be rooting for you. And
thank you.
Good luck with 2022. I think we're all starting to feel a little bit of a sigh of relief, and we got through the last 2 years, which has been great. And it does look like the mist is slowly clearing. Let's keep our fingers crossed. So thank you for joining me today, Siobhan. Good luck, and we'll speak to you very soon, I'm sure. Take care.
Thank you.